Good morning, family. Happy Saturday. Today is April 11th, and welcome to day 22 of our live 28-day gratitude practice. Um, if this is your first time to the channel, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. Um, Share this information with family, with friends, share it on social media, share it on the email, share it through text message, all of the many different ways that there are to share information these days. Please spread love, spread light, spread positivity, and that is the entire intention of this practice. So, if this is your first time here, you may be wondering what on earth is going on? How do we do this live 28-day gratitude practice? And it's pretty simple. Every day, I read a chapter aloud to you from Rhonda Byrne's The Magic. Rhonda Burns also wrote The Secret, so that's why you see that logo up here at the top. But this is a really powerful resource that weighed on my heart to share with everyone while we're going through this quarantine. You know, it's a challenging time for many people, myself included. And so, the more we can focus on positive, productive things, the better off we will be, because energy grows where our attention flows. So, yes, I read a chapter aloud for you every single day. It's my recommendation that if you've never done this practice before, if you don't know anything about this book, you've never read it before, start at the very beginning. Um, Starting from the beginning and doing all of the practices consecutively will build up a momentum, uh, but also allow you to get the absolute most out of this practice. And part of the reason why we do this practice in the first place, and we want to amass this energy of gratitude, is for the purpose of executing goals and seeing some things manifest in our reality. So you want to identify what you want to manifest in your reality. So go back to the very beginning and start from there. I promise you it will be worth your while. If you are interested in a copy of this book, you can purchase it pretty much through any outlet that sells books, Amazon, obviously. But I also have a digital copy of this book. If anybody is interested, all you got to do is shoot me an email address, and I am happy to send you a digital copy of this book. Maybe you want to read and listen at the same time, or you want to go along at your own pace, whatever the case may be. And I just think this is a great book to have in on your bookshelf or in your digital library in the first place. So I would recommend getting a copy of it anyway, so that you can have access to it at any time in any space. So that's it. I think that's a pretty good summary of what's going on here and what it is that we're up to with this live 28-day gratitude practice. Here we are already on day 22. We only got 6 days, y'all. We got 6 days left. But never worry. I'm going to come up, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do another practice after this is over. This coming Friday. If you all have any suggestions, please let me know, and I'll definitely take those into consideration. Um, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. One of the things that we do every single day is to write out a list of gratitudes. And those gratitudes we record in our fancy smancy notebook that we secure at the very beginning of this practice. So here we are on day 22, and we're writing at least 10 gratitudes every day, which means that if I actually completed all 10 of my gratitudes every single day, and I have at least 220 gratitudes inside of my journal. If that is not powerful, y'all, I don't know what is. And I think it's great to have a touchstone, something like this. Who is that? Give me some more. Good morning. Um, I love it when y'all leave me little notes and stuff. Thank you. Give me some more. Good morning. I have at least 20 by now at day 22. We have at least 220 gratitudes that we have written out. That is a lot of gratitude. Um, so, and I say at least because there have been other practices that we've had to complete that required us to write out some additional gratitudes for some specific things. So, more than 200 gratitudes, y'all. That's good stuff. So, I'm going to read a few of my gratitudes for you all. That's what I do every day. I'll share a few of those with y'all. And as we near the end of this, the challenge that I always give to myself, I always want to do new gratitudes every single day. I'm a firm believer that there is far more in this life to be grateful for than there is not. So I'm always challenging myself to find those things. So I would dare to say that almost all 200 plus of my gratitudes are all unique. And that's powerful to me. I'm before this is over, I'm gonna pull out not today necessarily, but before we get done with the 28 days, I'm gonna show you all of my journals that I've collected from doing this practice multiple times. Um, I have journals filled with gratitudes and goals and different parts of this practice. And I love going back over them and rereading them because they remind me of not only all the vast number of things that I have to be grateful for in my life, but they're also a really good reflection of my growth and my spiritual journey. And that's definitely something I think that's important to track and measure because sometimes we need those reminders of how far we've come in our journey because this journey is filled with challenging spots and locations and obstacles, and we need those reminders. And this journey can be lonely also. And so if it's nobody else there to remind you, you got to remind yourself of what you've come through and how powerful you are as a unique individual. So, blah, 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 blah. Let me go ahead and share a few of my gratitudes with you all. Oh, what I was saying was now that we are here at the end, sometimes it gets challenging for me to come up with stuff. So I'll give myself like a theme or something like that that will help me to focus my mind to find those gratitudes. So my theme this morning was things that make my life convenient. Like let me go ahead and share so y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And some they're simple things sometimes. And to be honest, sometimes I feel bad like when my gratitudes are really simple because I want them to be so juicy and so powerful, but it's okay for simple things to be powerful. So yeah, I'm thankful for my sewing machines because they make my work way more convenient. Like if I had to hand sew everything that I sew, yeah, that would take a lot of time. So I'm thankful for my sewing machines. I have a couple of sergers. I have a couple of standard machines. I got a couple industrial machines. I got a couple portable machines. So they definitely make my work more convenient and allow me to do more of what it is that I love. I'm grateful for my dishwasher because it makes doing my chores more convenient when I will allow it. I did not grow up in a house with a dishwasher, and I can remember like getting older and maybe we didn't have a dishwasher when I was a teenager, but somewhere like before becoming a teenager, we moved somewhere that did have a dishwasher, and my mom did not allow us to use the dishwasher. So now here I am as an adult, and I have a dishwasher in my house. I had been living here for 3 months before I ever used my dishwasher for the first time. And even now, I can count on one hand the number of times I've used my dishwasher. And I've lived here now for almost 6 months. So that's why I said when I will allow it. And here's another real simple one, but it's important because I'm thankful for my garage opener because it adds to the convenience of my life. And I was reminded of that one day. lost my, or I had left my garage opener inside of the house. So we pull up at home and I go to hit my button and it's not there. I'm like, so now I gotta park the car, get out of the car, go in the house through the front door, go through, open up the garage, and do all of these extra steps that just reminded me in that very moment how convenient it is just to have a garage opener. And there are so many things that we have around us, especially living in the age of technology, that make our lives so easy. And I know that a big argument in the age that we live in is that maybe our lives are too convenient, and there's this worry that humans are going to become lazy, and we're going to become too dependent on technology. But I believe that all things are about perspective, and so if we can view them from the perspective of the convenience that they add to our lives, maybe that will allow us the opportunity to see that no, convenience is a bad thing. It simply allows us and creates space to do more things, right? So, perspective is super important. So that's just a few of my 10 gratitudes that I did this morning. Let's go ahead and jump into the book. Today's practices. Today's practice. It's usually one practice per day. So here we are, day 22, before your very eyes. You want to see the picture? It is a bunny coming out of a magician's hat. Before your very eyes. And this whole conversation is all about magic. And I think we all need a little magic, if not a lot of magic these days. So, day 22, before your very eyes. This world, after all our science and sciences, is still a miracle, wonderful, inscrutable, magical, and more to whosoever will think of it. Thomas Carlyle, 1795 to 1881, writer and historian. 7 years ago, when I first discovered the secret and the magical power of gratitude, I made a list of all my desires. It was a long list. At that time, there seemed to be no possible way my desires could come true. Nevertheless, Nevertheless, I took my top 10 desires and I carried them with me on a piece of paper every day. Whenever I had an opportunity, I would take out my list and read through it, giving as much gratitude for each desire as I could, as though I had received it. With my number one desire, the desire I wanted more than anything else, I kept it constantly in my mind and I would say the magic word, thank you, for it multiple times in a day and feel as if it had come true. One by one, every desire on my list magically appeared before my very eyes. As I received my desires, I would cross them off my list, and when I had new desires, I would add them to my list. One of my desires from my original long list was to travel to Bora Bora near Tahiti. After spending a beautiful week at the exact place in Bora Bora I had listed, another beautiful thing happened. I was flying to the mainland of Tahiti on my way home when the airplane stopped en route to pick up passengers. The flight had been empty, but it filled to the brim with native Tahitians, and suddenly laughter, smiling faces, and the happiness that was palpable surrounded me. As I enjoyed the short flight with these beautiful people, it became crystal clear to me the reason why they were so happy. They were grateful. They were grateful to be alive. They were grateful to be on the plane. They were grateful to be with each other. They were grateful for where they were going. They were grateful for everything. I could have stayed, I could have stayed on that plane and traveled around the world with them. It felt so good to be with them. And then it struck me that I had just received my final desire. Bora Bora was the last desire on my original long list. And the reason I was on that plane was before my very eyes. Gratitude. I shared this story as an inspiration for you because no matter how big your desires seem to be, you can receive them through gratitude. Even more than that, gratitude will bring a joy and happiness for life that you've never felt before, and that is truly priceless. From the time I began using gratitude and the law of attraction to the time I received my final desire on my original list was 4 years. To give you an idea of the enormousness of receiving all my desires in that amount of time, when I created my desire list, my company was $2 million in debt, and I had 2 months before I would be forced to shut it down, and I would lose my home and everything I owned. The money I owed on my personal credit cards was a small fortune, and yet on my desire list was to own a big house overlooking the ocean, to travel to exotic places in the world, to have paid all my debts, to expand my company, to restore every relationship to the best it could be, improve the quality of my family's lives, and to be 100% healthy again and have unlimited energy and excitement for life, along with the usual list of material things. And my number one desire, which seemed like an absolute impossibility to many of the people around me, was to bring joy to millions of people through my work. The very first desire that I received was bringing joy to millions of people through my work. The rest of my desires magically followed, and one by one, as they appeared before my very eyes, I crossed them off my list. So now it's your turn to use gratitude's magical power to make your desires appear before your very eyes. At the start of the day, take your top 10 desire list that you created. So that was back at day 13. Read through each sentence and desire on your list. And for 1 minute, imagine or visualize that you have received your desire. Feel as much gratitude as you can, as if you have it now. Carry your desire list with you today in your pocket. On at least 2 occasions in the day, take out your list, read through it, and feel as much gratitude for each one as you can, as though you have received it. If you want your desires to come more quickly, I would highly recommend that you carry your list with you in your wallet or purse from this day forward. And whenever you have time, open it up, read through it, and feel as much gratitude as you can for each one. When your desires appear before your very eyes, cross them off your list and add more. And if you're like me, each time you cross a desire off your list, you will be in tears of joy because what seemed impossible was made possible through the magical power of gratitude. I just want to say a couple really quick things. So I mentioned that it's a good idea to start at the very beginning with this practice. So even before day one, there's a prep video that I highly recommend that folks do. That prep video is super important in learning the technique of this whole gratitude practice. And the sort of, if you will, the formula around writing out your desire list. Something very important to remember, your desires list should be very, very specific. Do not be afraid to identify what it is that you want, right? A lot of times, and especially as you know, we learn how to go about manifesting anything in our lives, you know, we'll give abstract ideas, thoughts, or wishes. I want to be rich, right? But define rich, right? Again, everything is about perspective. Rich to a billionaire is not the same thing as rich to a person who lives check to check, right? Um, I spoke about, okay, so I said that before this 28 days is over, I'm gonna show you guys some of my journals from when I've done these practices in the past. And I know for 100% certain the very first time that I did this practice, I didn't quite yet grasp the importance of writing out my wishes in detail. And I would say it's not even so much that I didn't understand the importance of doing that. I really just didn't understand how to do that. And I hadn't yet gotten to a point where I allowed myself to even be comfortable enough to identify what I really wanted because I was shy about, like, could I really have that? I was shy about, you know, programming and things that I had been taught about what I should desire out of life, what was tactful to desire out of life. So many of us have these funny relationships with the things that we want, right? we tend not to allow those things into our experience because we've been taught that, you know, it's bad for, you know, life to be convenient or for life to be pleasurable, because if you win in, then that means somebody else is losing, right? So all of these weird sort of things that we're taught about how it is that we can and should relate to life and experience, right? Unfortunately, many of us have been taught that struggle and pain are normal. And because of that belief system, life reflects that reality right back to us. And so for many of us, the journey is really digging through and discovering the beliefs, thoughts, and ideas that hinder us from living our fullest potential and greatest experience. So I can tell y'all it's taken me a number of times to do this practice to really get and to become comfortable with declaring what it is that I want in my experience. So that, I believe, is also part of the journey of getting comfortable enough with that. Y'all, I'm noticing for the very first time down here, this little button. Okay, no, that muted my mic. I thought by hitting it, because I see like a bunch of buttons, I thought it was gonna let me turn my mic up, but it didn't. What is this do? Okay, never mind me. But yeah, allow yourself to be very honest with yourself about what you want in your experience. Um, that right there, a lot of times, is the first obstacle in getting to and meeting your desires, is allowing yourself to be honest about what it is that you want. And a lot of times, y'all, when I'm sharing this stuff, I'm really preaching to myself. So, yeah, be very specific in your wishes and your desires. So, when you go to the very beginning and you do the prep work, all you're doing is just really purging your mind, purging your brain of all of the things that you want. Then later on, when you get to day 13, you're going to take your top 10 desires, you're going to extract those from your larger list. Um, and write those out in a specific way, specific formula, so as to allow gratitude to solve the equation for you, if you will. And so, yeah, today's practice is really important. I love how she talks about carrying your top 10 wish list with you from today forward. It's something that I've recommended from the beginning, really. Like I said, what I do personally, I have mine taped to my window in my bathroom, as well as I have a copy of my wish list taped to the inside of my planner. And it's something that I constantly am thinking about, constantly and pondering on. And those are really good touchstones also, because when the mental chatter gets really loud, um, I don't believe that the goal in growth, whether we're talking emotional growth or we're talking spiritual growth, I don't believe that the goal is to just always be, you know, vibrating high and then we punish ourselves when we're not, right? That's not it. It's only to catch ourselves when we start shifting or drifting or, you know, getting low. Our challenge is simply to catch ourselves. And then what do when you catch yourself? You shift the thought. So to the degree that we can have touchstones of positive things to focus our attention on, by all means, your top 10 wish list should be your number one focus at all times. So let me not say too much more. Real quick, let's do the review for today. Before I talk about the review for today, the one thing that I'm asking in return from everybody is to designate one spot on your top 10 wish list for a shared goal. And I'm just asking everybody to share in this wish, in this goal, in this manifestation with me. And I believe it would be of benefit to us all. And that gratitude is, I am thankful for the swift and peaceful elevation of public health and daily activity. And y'all already know what that means. I don't even need to go into that any further. So let's go ahead real quick and do the review for magic practice number 22 before your very eyes. Step number 1, count your blessings. Make a list of 10 blessings. Write why you're grateful. Reread your list, and at the end of each blessing, say thank you, thank you, thank you, and feel as grateful for that blessing as you can. Number 2, at the start of today, take your top 10 desire list that you created. Number 3, read through each sentence and desire on your list, and for 1 minute, imagine or visualize that you have received your desire. Feel as much gratitude as you can. Number 4, carry your desire list with you today in your pocket. On at least 2 occasions in the day, take out your list, read through it, and feel as much gratitude as you can. And finally, number 5, just before you go to sleep tonight, hold your magic rock in one hand and say the magic word, thank you, for the best thing that happened during the day. And that's it, y'all. Magic practice number 22. So that means when I see you all tomorrow, we will be on practice number 23 already. I cannot think. It seems like this went by so fast, but I'm super proud of myself for committing to doing this. I've been consistent, and I've been here 22 days in a row, being present. So I'm proud of myself. And I hope that this practice has been a benefit to you all. I love it when y'all send me comments or send me messages. Keep me updated on how this practice is going for you. Do you have any favorite practices so far? Which ones are you going to take with you and put inside of your toolbox? Like I mentioned, Magic Footsteps is one of my favorites. And then also the one that we did yesterday is like one of my main ones. What's the name of that one? Magnificent Outcomes. Whenever I find myself in getting ready to confront some challenging situation, without fail, I always say thank you for the magnificent outcome of whatever. And every time it works out more fantastically than I could have ever imagined. So there are a number of practices in here that I legitimately keep with me and practice all the time, whether I'm doing 28 days of magic or not. These are practices that I keep with me. So yeah, let me know how this is going for y'all. Give me some more. I read somewhere before that if you do something for 2 weeks consistently, you will create a habit. Congratulations. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, true. Thank you. Consistency around gratitude is probably one of the greatest tools that I can use for myself. So thank you for congratulating me. I'm proud of myself too. So yeah, so tomorrow will be day 23, family. Do not forget, please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, give me a like, drop me a comment, let me know how this practice is going for you. But best of all, the greatest thing that you can do is to share this love. Let other folks get in on this. So that said, have a magical, amazing, wonderful, fantastic day. And I will see you all tomorrow for day 23 of our live 28-day gratitude practice. Peace.